Hello, Martinique. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am so good, and I'm so happy to have you here. And I'm so excited to learn about your publishing and self publishing and that whole world, which I really don't know anything about. Why don't you tell? You have such an interesting background that led you to this point of publishing your own book. So I would love it if you would tell the people listening what your background is and how did that lead up to you wanting to create your own book?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Jessica, first and foremost, for letting me be here and just share a piece of my story. It's wonderful to share this space with you. Lovely background, lovely hair, everything. You look great. And I'm really happy to be here. But like you said, my name is Martinique. And just from the starting point, I am a recruitment manager for an education nonprofit called City Year. And I sit in Cleveland, Ohio. But we are a national organization. It's an AmeriCorps program. And for those that really don't know what that is, AmeriCorps has hundreds of volunteer opportunities. That's local, state, national service type of stuff, like public safety, health, homeland security. But my specific organization, excuse me, is City Year, and we fall under the education umbrella of AmeriCorps. And so, yeah, so I served in City Year with third graders. I worked in a third grade classroom and then did some work outside of all that and community organizing. And working with the young people is what really inspired me to write a book about a little third grader. And
Aw.
actually, one of my students, she is depicted as one of the characters in this book. She's one of like the students in the classroom, and we drew a picture of her in there. So that's a nice little treat, nice little surprise. But yeah, from that experience, really brought me to really realizing I should write and create and share art or something like that for the youth. But yeah, I just recently came off a big high. I published my first book that kicked off with a hot chocolate book launch a few days ago.
Woo,
Um,
congratulations. That's so exciting.
so we had some little ones on board with me that evening, and parents and families that attended, and it went over pretty well for my first time doing a virtual book launch. So
Mhm, mhm. Wow, I have so many questions. But first of all, that's so amazing that you used your background to give you the inspiration to create something. Because for a lot of the people listening to this who are artists or creatives in some way, they feel like sometimes their day job is like holding them back from like creating as
mhm.
well as they could. But I love to hear your kind of story where you've like actually used your quote day job as a vehicle to actually give you so much inspiration. And I've actually had a very
Sure.
similar experience. I was a makeup artist for many years, and I just I worked for Christian Dior, and
Wow.
I got very interested in sculpting people's faces and using different colors, so much so that it kind of like created a real passion for portraits and like painting
Oh.
portraits and like using colors in that way. But I don't know if that would have happened had I not first been a makeup artist. So
Mhm.
I love that you had that creative moment, that inspiration from something that you probably thought like, maybe, I don't know, maybe you did. Um, you probably thought that it had nothing to do with anything creative, like writing a book, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I'm naturally an artist at heart. Like, as a young person, even in high school, I knew that I wanted to create something
Mhm.
for youth. I used to like watch cartoons all the time, even as a high school student. And I had the bias of like, these young kids don't, really have the same stuff that I used to listen to or look at as a young person. And so
Mm.
that always stayed with me and it followed me. And I started doing like poetry and all those kinds of things as a young person. And then, yeah, I just was kind of fell off the artist world in a sense. And I thought, I'm not really doing what I thought I was supposed to be. I don't
Mhm.
feel my purpose is being fulfilled right now. I'm not walking in the path.
Yeah.
And then I realized, just like what you said, how can I change what my day job is, continue to work, but then inspire my art within that passion? So,
Mhm.
yeah, I totally feel it.
Yeah, that's amazing, amazing. So, tell us about your book and, you can show us your book and tell us about like kind of the themes in your book, or whatever you would like to share with us.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I'll just kind of tell you like the back cover of the book. So this story is about a young girl. Her name is Unique, and she must confront her fears after her family has moved to a very different side of town. And she has to go to a new school in the middle of the year, which is a very big third grade nightmare for her. But she also is a child with some physical differences. And in
Mhm,
the new school, that creates some worries for Unique.
mhm,
But a changing butterfly kind of takes her on a magical journey of self discovery to kind of celebrate some of those differences that she has and to figure
mhm,
out what her gifts are, and that, she is very unique and is very beautiful. And the power of imagination and self empowerment is really celebrated in my book.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, so this is it. I'm really
Oh, I love it.
happy.
And for
So
those of you who are just listening on the podcast, it's a picture on the front of a girl with, and she kind of has her hands open, and there's a butterfly in it, and yeah,
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, great description. I like that. Yeah, you're right. It's all butterflies on the back of her too. But yeah, she's just this little brown-skinned girl who's going through some changes and discovering a little bit about herself. Here I wanted to just kind of tell your audience. So I have the author proof copy. This is my first copy I received. And
Ooh.
actually, funny story, when I was going through like changing and making edits, somebody stole it in the mail. So I had to order another one and wait a few more days. So I was
Oh,
really
oh my
nervous.
goodness, that's
So
upsetting.
yeah, but we got it and it's all good. A lot of things didn't go as planned, but I'm here. But I just wanted to make sure people knew this is why there's a strip across it. This is just the author proof, so that it doesn't
Oh,
go for resale. Mm-hmm.
okay, okay. Yes,
But
and
yeah,
it's called Through the Colors of a Butterfly, right?
through the colors of a butterfly.
Okay,
Yep,
amazing. And would you be able to show us some of the illustrations inside?
for sure, no problem.
Amazing.
So for those of you who are kind of interested in the process of finding illustrators and stuff like that, I actually knew this illustrator. We worked on a few productions and theater projects in the city, and I really loved her work and everything that she did um, in those productions that we worked on. And then
Mhm.
I got a chance to see like what she did on Instagram, and she has some fabulous drawings. She has a lot of comic books that she's done, and paintings and things of that nature. And I was like, hey, let's do something. Are you ready? Are you game to like work on a personal project together?
Mhm.
And so yeah, she did. And I'll show you one of the other pictures that I really like. Um, so this, I don't, without giving it away, I hope I'm not giving it away, but my little girl in the book, because she's worried, she stops speaking in class. She doesn't engage with anyone. And then the teacher notices this, so she gives her a caterpillar to take care of to see what happens. And then towards the end, we see Unique kind of transform, and then she's able and eager to share her voice in the class. And so this picture kind of shows her reciting a poem that I wrote for it.
Oh
I
my
just,
gosh, I love that. That's so beautiful. And would you want to share that poem with us?
oh yeah, let's do it.
Okay, yes, I want to hear it.
All right. So again, she's asked after she's seen what the butterfly kind of takes her through this journey about herself. She goes to school, and here she is. The teacher asks her to share her observations. And so she says, through the colors of a butterfly, I fell into a dream. I heard the flutter of wings, breathed the air and flowers around me. I discovered the gifts and amazing things I bring. I admire you, but will never forget what I can do too. Through the colors of a butterfly, I am unique. I don't have to hide or choose not to speak. That's no good for you or me. I am beautiful and different, and that's okay. No one is just alike. We all have beauty we can bring. Through the colors of a butterfly, I believe in me. And then I'll leave it to the rest of you to finish off what is going to happen at the end of the book.
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I got chills when you were reading that. Seriously, that is so beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
Wow. And congratulations again on your book launch and everything. And yeah, so okay, yes, I'm sure a lot of the people who are listening are creatives as well, and they're going to want to know, like, kind of what was your process like when you came up with the idea, I think I want to write a book. Like, what was that process like from like the idea to completion?
Yeah, good question. So, I like I said, I did AmeriCorps and I worked with the little ones. And when I graduated from the program in 2017, I knew I wanted to create something. So I actually applied for Sesame Street Fellowship. I didn't get accepted,
Okay.
but that's totally okay, because it gave me the idea it ignited the idea to write this book.
Mhm,
This is not actually the passion book that I wrote for Sesame Street. This is just a Kickstarter book,
mhm,
to help me along the way to get my foot, in there to figure out how an author career would possibly look like.
mhm,
Um, but because of that, again, I knew I wanted to write a book. And so I found an organization called, Self Publishing School through Chandler Bolt. And they like put you with a coach and like walk you through the whole author journey for,
mhm,
3 to 6 months. And so I
mhm,
signed up through them and they made me do like a mind map. And I sat and I just spewed all these ideas out and, just kind of went through to see which ones matched up with the theme that I wanted to work with. And it took me about a month to actually write the book,
mhm,
come up with the idea and everything, and talk to my coach. Her name is Marcy Pusey, so you can check her out. She has
okay.
a couple of books. But yeah, so I worked with her, and then, from there, after the book was, written and I self-edited, I had to go through finding some editors. I actually got two, and people can find editors on Redsea.com. That was pretty helpful. People look at Fiverr.com,
Mhm,
to find people to look over. If you can reach out to like professors at schools or something like that to look over your work, that could help.
mhm.
But I actually got two editors. You probably will only stick with one. Wouldn't do that again. That was a lot. But yeah, it helped me. And then after that process, it was finding the illustrator. But I already had, this young lady in mind.
Mhm,
But for people who might not know, about illustrators or something like that, another source is like a lot of Facebook illustration groups are around, and
mhm,
then going on Fiverr.
mhm.
I hope that, as I was just going on and on, I hope that's answering the question.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. So, so once you had, yeah, so you were a part of this program, and they kind of, would you say they gave you structure to complete the book?
Oh, for sure. That's
Yeah.
it. Because
Okay.
otherwise, you're kind of like walking and wandering like a zombie all over the place. I had no idea the
Mhm,
steps that it takes to
mhm,
really accomplish a book. And the order that they did have it in for me to follow the guide,
mhm.
was very beneficial. Otherwise, I would be extremely lost.
Yeah, yeah, because it is a big thing, and if you don't know the process, then you
Yeah.
would definitely be overwhelmed. Um,
Hmm.
okay, so once you had the script, you had the illustrator you wanted to use. So now for the illustrators, I know that everyone's going to be different, but did you like pitch her like this is my budget, or were you like, would you like a percentage of the profits? How was that?
I think it will be depending on what you all, really agree on how you want to approach it. I did come, even though I know, my illustrator, I was like, no, we're still gonna have a contract. So always
Mhm,
present it as the author. I would say
mhm.
is very important and make it more professional. When you're
Yeah.
approaching someone, that you have a contract ready and set, and that you go over before you start communicating with the illustrator yourself.
Mhm.
But yeah, typically, you'll find that, and from what I've seen in some of the, illustrator and author Facebook groups, is that the illustrator will want, their money up front.
Mm,
So,
mhm.
and you don't necessarily have to include them into like any of the other sales and things like
Uh,
that you make
okay.
afterwards, unless that is something that you agree on. And maybe if you're going through, the actual publishing company, they might do it that way where everybody gets some type of
Mhm,
royalties.
mhm,
But typically, they will have a set amount of costs that you would have
mhm.
to give them upfront for the entire book. Uh,
Okay, okay, that makes sense. So it's kind of like a commission in that
mhm.
way for most artists. That's how they can think of it.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Okay, so and then what was my other question? So once you got the illustrator and once you have the finished script, then it's time to self-publish. Now, did you use Amazon Publishing or something else?
Yes, so I went through Amazon.
Okay.
And then we also have another source is Ingram Spark.
Hmm.
So that's where you can like get your hardcover copybook, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's helpful for bookstores or schools to be able to order through Ingram Spark in bulk. So that's
Okay.
why we do two. Amazon is a good safe space to go through first if you're a first time author or just looking to put your book up there.
Mhm.
Um, but the thing with Ingram Spark, my book isn't up there yet because they're a little funky with how you have to like upload your cover and make sure that there's bleed. So that means like your illustrations aren't going to be coming off the page,
Mhm.
or there's enough bleed on the page.
Mhm.
So we've been having kind of little hiccups with that. So we're trying to finish that before summer
Mhm.
to get it up there so I can have a hardcover copybook.
Okay, very cool. Well, I'm sure that you'll get it all done. Very exciting. And let's see, what other questions do I have? Okay, yes, let's talk about marketing. So, so once you have everything done, you have your book, you're about to launch it on Amazon. Now, let's talk about marketing. What did you do to kind of prepare yourself and prepare your book so that people knew about it, and so that you would have a successful launch?
Good question. These are the things that brought tears, the marketing and the branding of
Yes.
this was the real hard part for me because I'm not really on social media
Mhm.
like that. I do it as little things for artists, things that I do on the side, but not too much all the time. And that consistency is really important leading up to, I would say, if you know for a fact that you're going to write a book and you actually have started it in Word, that's when you start to market yourself. When
Mm,
you for a fact know that you're about to get the book out and it's probably going to take you a year or so still, tell people that you're writing a book at least. At
mhm,
least put it out there somewhere on your Facebook, on your social media, tell your family and your friends.
mhm.
And then I would say, if you're not comfortable quite yet with telling people about what you're doing, when it goes to the editor, that's when you should start telling people. I waited very long to start
Mhm.
getting like my branding done and all that kind of stuff, like as far as a website. There's going to be a lot of hiccups, at least there were for me, with creating a website. Just some glitches that you want to make sure you get locked down, so that it can look very professional and like, credible. So I actually did it probably like 3 to 4 months before the launch of my book. I had the
Okay.
website up, and that was a lot of work.
Mhm,
Trying to get social media posts together months in advance so that by the time the book was here, I could just go to Canva and just
mhm,
drop everything on IG. And
mhm.
that's a process too.
It is. Oh my gosh, I feel like social media is almost like crafting, effective marketing for social media for your creative projects. It's almost as big a job as like your creative project, because it's a creative project in and
Mhm.
of itself to create something that's going to spark interest and really make a splash. So I feel you, but and I love Canva though. Canva's amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
it
shout
does,
out to Canva, whoever makes
yes.
it. I mean,
And for those of you who are listening, Canva is just Canva, Canva.com. And it's basically like if you have no web design experience, you can go there and it's free and you can just like create all these things from templates. It's amazing. So,
yeah, that is the place that I've been hanging out quite often.
yeah,
It's been very helpful.
that's
But yeah,
amazing.
you want to make sure you have like all those kinds of things that beforehand, or even if you don't have a website, that's totally okay. You could probably have like a landing page, or at least you want to have an author Facebook page.
Mhm,
That's helpful too. If you don't want to go to all those extreme steps of getting all the website, all those
mhm.
hosting platforms and stuff of that
Right.
nature, that's fine. Or if you just want to start with an Instagram page, I think it's
Mhm.
important to get the excitement up before the book is there.
Right.
That's where a lot of authors might fall off on. Uh,
Right.
let people know far, far in advance. I started reaching out to like podcasts and things of that nature too, to tell people that even if my book wasn't out, that it was coming out, and I was very serious about it.
Mhm.
So I've talked to people in December, about the book, even before I had a physical copy. So don't be afraid to at least tell people that
Mhm.
something's coming.
Yeah,
That's
that's
exciting there.
amazing. Amazing. And what do you think about an email list, like the concept of having an email list?
It's very important. You know, my email list is very small. Like I said, I started about 3 to 4 months before my book launch.
Mhm,
And so I would say, like I said, start doing it 6 months in advance,
mhm,
telling people, getting them on your email list. So that way you can create fans and create interest. Even if you have another project after the book is done, or you have some little sneak peeks in between, that kind of gets people excited and to stick around for what's to come when your book is
mhm.
released. So
Yeah.
yeah, start with your list, and do it early, because again, I had to go through different platforms and of that nature. Like, I tell you, it was tears, tears.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. But yes, I totally agree with you. An email list is so helpful. Like my email list, I think of the people on my email list as my friends now because
Mhm.
they like respond to things and they often buy things and they're because you keep in contact with them more directly through
Yeah.
something like email rather than social media, which is a little bit more like public, but an email list feels more intimate, like they're getting like a special letter from you.
Mhm, mhm.
I will get lots of people responding, and you're able to just keep up with people in a way that
Yeah.
they feel like they know you, so they're more willing to respond. So, yeah, I think email lists are so important, and yeah, it's so important to have that list, that email sign up on your website, so people can
Oh,
like
yeah.
yeah, people can get in the know there. Mhm.
For sure. Yeah. And that gets, like I said, people really excited when your book is coming out. And
Mhm.
then they can go and support you. You can actually, if you have an email list before your book is out, you can say, hey, can you spread the word? Here are some posts that you can share, something like that. Or you could do a
Mm,
giveaway. You know, my book is coming out. If you share this post, like, you might get a free copy of the book when it's out. You
mhm,
know, be the first one to read the book for free on, an ebook. I did that as well for some people,
mhm,
that they can read my ebook for free if they help me out in some way. So you
mhm.
just never know how you can use it. Be
Ah,
very
I
creative.
love that. I love that. So,
Mhm.
you said that this is your first book. Now, you said that you have another book you are thinking of doing, right? So, can you give us any
Yes.
clues about that yet?
Yeah, for sure. So this is just an idea. Now I've gotten hyped up, and I know I need to take a few naps from doing this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been tiring, but it's been worth it. I'm definitely thinking about a little book about a little boy, a little
Mhm.
African American boy, who wants to be a scientist. And
Mm.
I actually met a little boy a few years ago who, because I'm a recruiter, I had to go around to different schools and talk to young kids. But this little boy, obviously, I'm not recruiting third graders, but he wanted to come into the classroom presentation with the big high school students. And he was like, I want to be with them. And we had a conversation. I asked them, what do they want to do when they grow up? And I said, you know what, since you're here, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he told me, I want to be a scientist and I want to study germs. And this was way before the pandemic.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and I was like, "Oh
Wow.
my gosh." And I actually I was debating, should I do this boy scientist book, or should I do it about the butterfly and the little girl? And I went with this one first. And so, yeah, the other one's in the back of my mind. I don't know what that's going to really entail, but it's
Mhm.
there.
Okay, okay, we'll have to follow you. And so where can people find out more about you, Martinique, and buy your book, of course?
Yes, please. You can check out my website. Tell me what you think about it. It's on thecolorofstories.com. And also, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at the Colors of Stories 10, the number 10.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So I'm gonna link all of those somewhere around here in the show notes or in the caption, so you guys can anybody listening can go and support Martinique because she's awesome and we want to support her.
Yay.
And yeah, thank you so much, Martinique. My last question for you is, what would you say? What would you say to someone who is maybe they want to write a book and I'm speaking to a lot of like writers and illustrators too. So maybe they want to write an illustrator book and they're not exactly sure what they want to do. What would you say to them?
I would say before you start writing, go ahead and think about your why. A lot of people don't know why they want to write,
Mhm,
and it's okay if you're like, I just want to put it on my bucket list. That's great. And then some people want to say, I want to make money. or they want to create like a legacy or get it out some way for a message. So think about that first so that you won't be shocked during the process or shocked that you didn't get these amount of sales, because trust me, it's not going to be like boom 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 that you're going to make a whole bunch of sales within the first few weeks or days. So
Mhm,
really sit and think about your why, and then move into the process of development.
mhm,
Think about, you know, the editing process. Think about, if you want an illustrator, if you don't want to write a children's book, you still need a cover design. So think about how that's all going to look and how you're going to be ready and game for it. I say
mhm,
that's the biggest piece. And then don't be afraid to just simply write in Word. If it's just, you know, I want to write about a wall right now, put it down. Some people want to wait. Don't wait.
mhm.
Just start writing. And
Yeah.
that's going to kickstart everything.
Oh my gosh, so good. I love that. Thank you so much, Martinique. Okay, well, everybody go follow Martinique, buy her book, and share what she has done. And yeah, we will catch up with you maybe in a couple months with your second book. So that'd be so great.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.